I've grown up watching people play the Legend of Zelda games. Family members played Ocarina of Time, friends played Majora's Mask. Slumber parties involved a group of us trying to figure out the original Zelda games. I was always content to sit on the sidelines and watch as I worked in a sketchbook, not having any interest in actually playing until later in life. Up until college, the only Zelda game I'd ever actually played was Twilight Princess. I enjoyed the game for what it was, despite not knowing entirely what I was doing, and relying pretty heavily on Zelda Dungeon and my brother to get me through many of the puzzles. But I got to play as a wolf half the time, so you wouldn't find me complaining. I bought my Switch a few years after its release. I'd saved up for months, and my 3DS was on the fritz. My parents, considerate and kind, offered to buy my first game for it. I picked Breath of the Wild. After proudly carrying my new console home, I set up shop on the couch and inserted my shiny new game. I'd heard excellent things about it and had watched my friend Marie play it here and there. As I listened to Zelda beckon Link from the Shrine of Resurrection and onto the Great Plateau, the music rising and swelling in a symphony of the adventure I was about to embark on, I settled in. I had no idea at the time just how heavily the game would influence me. From that point on, I retreated to Hyrule in times of distress. Many bouts of depression were spent in Lanayru, flares of anxiety were soothed in Akala, loneliness was reduced in the Gerudo Desert. Slowly but surely, my heart was connecting more and more to the adventure, and the exploration, and the characters I was meeting along the way. I started gaining an undeniable connection to Link. Maybe it was the fact that I could explore whatever parts of the world I wanted. Maybe it was the fact that in his silence, I inserted myself. It began to feel as though I was simply controlling myself instead of a separate character. In this world, there was no pressure to try and be someone else. I could don whatever outfit I wanted, go wherever I wanted, and do whatever I pleased. I could mow the lawn with the Master Sword if I wanted to. And I did. A year or so into playing, I took Link's name as my own. The more connected I grew to him, the more I began to find myself. Around the same time, Fairy came into my life. She was being sold by an artist I admired called Pilot Prince. At the time, she was called Gwen, and I got to draw her as my half of the trade. When her design was put up for sale about a month later, I snatched her as fast as I could, because I'd fallen in love with her. Weirdly fast, I might add. A sign, perhaps? After acquiring her, I first called her Brown Sugar. A week later, that changed to FahriiFeather. Almost immediately, I connected to her on a deep emotional level, beginning to use her as an extension of myself in my art. A year after her acquisition, I changed her design. She now bore 2 Triforce earrings and gold flecks in her fur. She also had made a home in Hyrule Field. She traversed the land with Link, swimming with Sidon and having her tail fur braided by Riju. She caught a pet Korok, and Link showed her her first jar of fairies. Every night, she fell asleep on his lap. I lived vicariously through her on these adventures. Link adventured with me and kept me safe during storms or time of turmoil. Sidon kept me close when in distress, chasing away the sadness that sat deep in my bones. As I lay in bed with headphones on and the minimal yet beautiful music to lull me to sleep, I finally felt at peace. Years have passed. I still go by the name Link. I have a Breath of the Wild tattoo almost big enough to cover my entire bicep. People who know me tell me I will always remind them of Breath of the Wild for the rest of their lives. Now it is time to say thank you. Firstly, to Nintendo for making Breath of the Wild a reality. Thank you to Mom and Dad for gifting the game to me all those years ago. Thank you to Seth for indulging in and boosting my love of everything Zelda. My life wouldn't be the same without any of these things. And thank you to you for listening as I recount my affection for the game and all it has done for and offered me. Now, as Tears of the Kingdom finally releases, I'm ready to team up with Link again. I'm ready to immerse myself in this new world and everything it has to offer. I'm ready for a new adventure.
What is lost if it's not being by yourself? I won't be gentle to the body on the shelf. It's only water, it's only fire, it's only love. It's only slaughter, we're only liars, it's only blood. There are only thoughts that I'm having, thoughts safe within my heart. You're only crying, you're only dying. Only water, it's only fire, it's only love. 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 It's only love.